Hello there and welcome, quiet friend, to this little corner of calm and curiosity. As the world outside begins to settle and the day's hurried pace starts to fade, we turn our attention gently inward. Tonight, we softly approach one of life's most beautiful and enduring mysteries. We will be exploring that strange and wondrous landscape we visit each time we close our eyes. We are going to wonder together about the gentle mystery of why we dream. What happens when our minds drift into those shifting realms populated by fleeting images and whispered thoughts? It is a journey we all take every night, a quiet adventure waiting just beyond the edge of sleep. Before we begin our quiet exploration, if you feel like sharing quietly in your own space, perhaps you might just wonder where you are listening from tonight. Is it late in the evening, or perhaps a quiet moment earlier in the day where you are resting? It is a gentle thought connecting us through this quiet space. And if you find a moment of peace here, a soft landing place for your thoughts, a gentle tap or click, a quiet subscription, helps this little corner of calm spread its quiet wings to others who might need a moment of rest. It is a simple way to share the quiet. And so, we settle deeper into the quiet inquiry, turning our attention inward. We have wondered at the nature of dreams, those soft whispers in the night. Now, let us ponder gently why the mind chooses to wander at all when the body is at rest, still and silent in the dark. Think of the body as a quiet house at night. The doors are locked, the lights are out, everything is settled and still. But inside, though the inhabitants are sleeping, there is still activity behind the scenes. Pipes gently hum, the refrigerator softly clicks, perhaps the old house sighs quietly in the wind. It is not chaos, but a different kind of order, a background maintenance that happens when the main work of the day is done. Our minds are much like that house. When the body drifts into sleep, releasing the tensions of the day, the conscious effort of doing and being in the world begins to fade. The focus narrows, then softens, then eventually dissolves into the vast landscape of unconsciousness. Yet, this is not a state of complete cessation. Far from it. It is a shift in activity, a change in focus, a turning inward to a different kind of labor. Why does the mind wander? Why does it not simply shut down like a machine turned off? It seems the mind is not a machine in that simple way. It is an ecosystem, a constantly flowing river, a tireless gardener tending to its inner world. And sleep, this deep restorative time, is when much of that essential tending takes place. One of the most gentle ideas is that the resting mind is sorting through the day. Imagine all the experiences, the sights, the sounds, the feelings, the thoughts that washed over us from morning till night. It is an overwhelming tide. The mind, while we sleep, begins the quiet task of organizing this vast influx of information. It is like a librarian putting books back on the shelves, deciding which ones to keep close at hand and which to file away in the deeper archives. This sorting is not a hurried or logical process as it might be when we are awake and trying to remember something specific. It is more diffuse, more associative. The resting mind seems to connect things in surprising ways, not by strict rules, by faint echoes, by shared feelings, by accidental proximity in time or space. This is perhaps one reason why dreams can feel so strange, so disjointed, like pieces of a puzzle that don't quite fit together in the way we expect. They might be fragments of this internal sorting, glimpses of the mind's quiet, non-linear work. Another important task the mind undertakes during rest is strengthening what needs to be remembered. Not everything from the day is equally important. The mind seems to review the events, the lessons learned, the skills practiced, and gently reinforces the neural pathways associated with them. It is like tracing over a drawing with a darker pencil so the lines become clearer and more permanent. This happens quietly, effortlessly, while we are unaware. This vital process of memory consolidation is one powerful reason why sleep is so necessary for learning and retention. The wandering mind is not idle. It is building the architecture of memory, brick by silent brick. But it is not just about information and facts. The resting mind is also deeply involved in processing our emotional landscape. The feelings we experienced throughout the day, the small frustrations, the moments of joy, the lingering worries, the quiet comforts, all these leave their trace. During sleep, particularly in certain stages, the brain areas associated with emotion become very active. It is as if the mind is replaying the emotional notes of the day, trying to make sense of them, to integrate them into our larger understanding of ourselves and the world. Dreams often seem to reflect this emotional work. A dream might not literally recreate an event, but it might perfectly capture the feeling of that event, amplified or distorted. A sense of being lost might represent underlying anxiety about a situation. A feeling of flying might reflect liberation or excitement. This processing helps us to regulate our emotions, to work through difficult experiences, and to maintain a sense of emotional balance. The wandering mind is also a feeling mind, tending to the delicate garden of our inner feelings while we rest. Beyond sorting memories and processing emotions, there is a quiet sense that the resting mind is also exploring possibilities. When the constraints of waking logic are loosened, the mind is free to make connections it might not make otherwise. It can combine disparate ideas, bring together seemingly unrelated concepts, and explore hypothetical scenarios. This is perhaps why dreams can sometimes feel so creative, so imaginative, presenting us with images and narratives that are entirely novel and unexpected. Some theories suggest that dreaming is a form of creative exploration, a playground for the mind where it can experiment without consequence. It is like a child building with blocks, not necessarily with a specific plan, but simply seeing what shapes and structures can emerge. This creative wandering might be essential for problem solving, for gaining new insights, for simply keeping the mind flexible and adaptable. The wandering mind, in its own silent way, might be playing, inventing, and discovering. Think of the brain during sleep not as a single entity, but as different areas working together, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes in a less coordinated fashion than during wakefulness. There are periods of deep, slow-wave sleep where the brain activity is slow and synchronized, crucial for physical restoration and some types of memory work. Then there are periods of REM sleep, characterized by rapid eye movements, increased brain activity resembling wakefulness, and vivid dreaming. It is during these REM stages that the emotional processing and creative wandering seem particularly prominent. The mind wanders differently in these different landscapes of sleep. The mystery remains, of course, precisely why this wandering manifests as the rich, often bizarre narratives of dreams. Why stories? Why images? Why this particular form of mental activity? We do not have a complete answer. It is one of the most beautiful enigmas of our existence. Perhaps the narrative form of dreams is simply the way our conscious mind attempts to make sense of the fragmented, non-linear activity happening below the surface. When we briefly surface from the depths of sleep, or when we awaken with a memory of the night's journey, our waking brain tries to weave the sensory impressions, the feelings, the strange juxtapositions into something resembling a story. The wandering mind provides the raw material, and our waking awareness tries to give it shape and meaning. Or perhaps the storytelling is inherent to the process itself. Maybe the mind naturally creates narratives as a way of organizing experience, awake or asleep. Maybe dreams are simply the purest form of this internal storytelling, unedited by the constraints of external reality or conscious intention. The wandering mind is also a storyteller, weaving tales in the dark. Consider the sheer volume of information our minds process every second we are awake. It is immense. Sleep provides a necessary pause from the external world, allowing the internal world to catch up, to process, to integrate. The wandering mind is performing this vital catch-up work. It is cleaning, it is filing, it is healing, it is preparing for the day to come. It is a tireless, quiet servant working diligently while the body lies still. There is a gentle efficiency to this process, even in its apparent randomness. The mind seems to prioritize, to strengthen connections that are important, to prune away those that are not needed. This pruning is also essential. Just as a garden needs to be weeded and trimmed to thrive, the mind needs to let go of unnecessary clutter. Dreams, in their fleeting, often forgotten nature, might represent some of this letting go, these thoughts or feelings that are being processed and released. The wandering mind is also a gardener, tending the inner landscape. The fact that we do not always remember our dreams does not mean the wandering did not occur. Much of this internal work happens beyond the reach of conscious recall. Like the soft hum of the refrigerator in the quiet house, it is a background process that continues regardless of whether we are aware of it. The benefits of this nocturnal wandering accrue whether or not we awaken with a vivid dream to recount. The rest is deeper, the memories are clearer, the emotions are better regulated, simply because the mind was allowed to do its essential work. So, when we speak of the mind wandering while we rest, we are speaking of a fundamental, perhaps even defining, aspect of what it means to be human. Our minds are not meant to be switched off. They are dynamic, active systems, constantly processing, constantly adapting, constantly seeking to integrate experience. Sleep is not a period of inactivity, but a shift to a different kind of activity, one that is crucial for our well-being, our learning, and our emotional health. The soft inquiry into why the mind wanders while we rest leads us back to the gentle mystery of consciousness itself. What is this internal world? What is the nature of thought, feeling, and memory when they are freed from the demands of external reality? Dreams offer us glimpses, fragmented postcards from this inner journey. They are tangible evidence that the mind is always at work, always processing, always wandering. It is a comforting thought, perhaps. Even in the stillness of the night, when the world outside is hushed, our inner world is alive, active, and purposefully engaged in the quiet work of maintaining and renewing itself. The wandering mind is a sign of health, of vitality, of the incredible complexity and resilience of our inner selves. As we drift deeper into our own rest, let us appreciate this quiet work. Let us be grateful for the mind's tireless effort, sorting, processing, connecting, creating, even while we are unaware. The soft inquiry continues not just as we listen, but within each of us every single night. The mind wanders, and in its wandering, it cares for us, preparing us for the light of a new day. It is a gentle mystery, unfolding within. As the edges of the day soften and the world outside begins its quiet repose, we too begin a journey inward. It is a gentle descent, a surrender to the natural rhythm that calls us towards stillness. We don't simply switch off like a light. Instead, we move through a series of stages, each one a little deeper, a little quieter than the last. Think of it as a gradual settling, like dust slowly falling in a sunbeam, or a boat drifting gently away from the shore. This initial phase, this threshold between being fully awake and truly asleep, is a delicate state. Your thoughts might still be present, perhaps scattering like leaves in a gentle breeze, or drifting past like clouds. Your body begins to relax, muscles loosening their hold. There might be fleeting images, perhaps fragments of the day, or soft, undefined shapes dancing behind closed eyelids. It feels like floating on the surface of calm water, not quite submerged, but no longer standing firmly on the ground. It is a state of transition, a liminal space where the busy world begins to fade and the quiet inner world starts to emerge. This is a very light sleep, easily disturbed, a mere whisper of the stillness to come. As we move a little further down this quiet path, we enter the next stage. Here, the relaxation deepens. Your heartbeat begins to slow its steady rhythm. Your breathing becomes calmer, more even. The muscles throughout your body release their tension more completely, settling into softness. Your brain activity continues its shift, becoming slower, more rhythmic. It's as if the mind is tidying away the day's events, preparing for deeper rest. You are becoming less responsive to the outside world now. Sounds might still reach you, but they seem distant, less important. It's a settling in, a finding of comfort and peace. You are moving away from the surface chatter and descending into a more stable state of rest. Imagine sinking gently into a soft, welcoming cushion, feeling supported and still. This is where the body and mind truly begin their coordinated effort to quiet down, letting go of the day's concerns and preparing for the deeper work of sleep. Further still, the journey continues downward, into the most profound stillness of the non-dreaming sleep states. This is often called deep sleep, and the name itself tells you much. Here, your breathing is slow and deep, your heart rate is at its slowest and most steady. Your muscles are completely relaxed, heavy and still. It is in this quiet depth that much of the physical restoration happens. The body works diligently, repairing tissues, consolidating energy, growing and healing. The brainwaves become very slow and large, like long rolling waves on a calm ocean. In this state, you are furthest from wakefulness, most difficult to rouse. It is a state of deep peace and quiet restoration. Imagine the world outside fading completely, leaving you in a serene, silent space, where the only activity is the quiet, essential work of renewal happening deep within. This is a crucial stage, a time for the body to truly rest and rejuvenate, building strength for the days ahead. It is a period of profound quietude, a sanctuary of stillness where healing and growth take place unseen and undisturbed. The depth of this stage is like the bottom of a calm lake, still and dark, holding a quiet power. Yet, sleep is not a single, unchanging state of stillness. It is a dynamic process, a series of cycles that we move through during the night. After descending into the quiet depths of deep sleep, we don't simply stay there. The journey is cyclical. We gently ascend back through the lighter stages, like rising slowly towards the surface of the water. We might pass back through the second stage of non-dreaming sleep, that state of stable calm, before entering a phase that feels quite different. This next phase is known as REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, a physical sign that often accompanies this unique state. Unlike the previous stages where muscle tone is simply relaxed, in REM sleep, most of our voluntary muscles become temporarily paralyzed. This is a remarkable protective mechanism, preventing us from acting out the vivid experiences that often occur during this stage. Our brain activity during REM sleep looks surprisingly similar to when we are awake. There is a surge of activity, a different kind of energy flowing through neural pathways. Our breathing might become faster and more irregular, our heart rate might increase slightly. It is during these periods of REM sleep that the most vivid and memorable dreams often unfold. While dreaming can happen in other sleep stages, it is most prevalent and intense here. The world of dreams, with its strange landscapes, unpredictable events, and strong emotions, seems to open up during these REM phases. We shift from the quiet, restorative work of deep sleep to a state of heightened brain activity coupled with bodily stillness, where the mind seems to explore possibilities, process emotions, and weave narratives. The night is not a single long descent and ascent. Instead, we cycle through these stages multiple times. A typical sleep cycle lasts about 90 minutes, give or take. We descend from wakefulness into light sleep, then deeper into the stable second stage, and finally into the profound stillness of deep sleep. After spending time in the depths, we ascend again through the lighter stages, often pausing in the second stage before entering a period of REM sleep. After the REM phase concludes, we might briefly stir or even awaken for a moment before beginning the gentle descent into the next cycle. Early in the night, the sleep cycles tend to have longer periods of deep sleep. This deep, restorative sleep seems to be prioritized when we are most sleep-deprived. As the night progresses, the duration of deep sleep phases shortens, and the periods of REM sleep become longer. Towards morning, the cycles are dominated more by the lighter stages and REM sleep, with little to no deep sleep remaining. This shift in the architecture of sleep throughout the night suggests different needs being met at different times. The body focuses on physical restoration early on, while the mind seems to engage more in the active, processing state of REM later. Moving through these stages is a natural dance, orchestrated by the body's internal clock and the needs accumulated during the day. We transition between light sleep, stable sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep with a gentle fluidity. There are no sharp edges between these stages, but rather smooth, gradual shifts. It is a constant, quiet unfolding of the sleep process. Each stage plays a vital role in the complex tapestry of sleep. Light sleep is the gateway, the necessary transition. The second stage is a period of stabilization, preparing the body for deeper rest. Deep sleep provides profound physical restoration, allowing the body to repair and rejuvenate. And REM sleep, with its paradoxical state of an active mind in a still body, seems crucial for cognitive functions, emotional processing, and perhaps, as we explored earlier, the realm of dreams. This cyclical journey continues throughout the night, each 90-minute loop a complete exploration of the different dimensions of sleep. We gently dive into stillness, rise towards activity, experience the vivid theater of dreams, and then prepare for the next descent. It is a comforting rhythm, a predictable pattern that allows the body and mind to fulfill their essential functions while the world outside rests. Even if we don't consciously perceive these transitions, our bodies are expertly navigating them. The gentle slowing of the breath, the deepening relaxation of the muscles, the subtle shifts in brain activity, these are all part of the intricate symphony of sleep unfolding within us. To surrender to this process is to allow nature to take its course, trusting the innate wisdom of the body to guide us through the necessary stages of rest. As you lie still, perhaps feeling the weight of your body against the surface beneath you, notice the quiet presence of this internal journey. There is no need to try and force your way into a particular stage of sleep. The descent happens naturally, guided by the peaceful letting go. Allow your thoughts to continue their scattering if they wish, observing them without attachment as they drift by like passing clouds. Feel the gentle slowing of your own rhythm, the softening around your edges. Imagine yourself on a calm, still pond. You are a small boat, no longer needing to row or steer. The currents of sleep are subtle, unseen, but they gently guide you away from the busy shore of wakefulness. First, you drift slowly on the surface, the light still clear, the world still visible, but losing its sharp focus. This is the first gentle easing. Then, the water beneath you seems to deepen slightly. The light becomes softer, muted. You are more securely on the water, the gentle rocking a lullaby. The sounds from the shore fade further away, becoming indistinct murmurs. This is the settling, the finding of stability in the quiet waters. The descent continues, deeper and deeper. The light becomes very dim, almost dark. The water is profoundly still, calm, and quiet. There is a sense of profound depth, a peaceful pressure all around you. This is the quiet, restorative deep water, where you are held in perfect stillness. After a time in these depths, the subtle current shifts. You begin a gentle ascent, rising slowly towards the softer light again. The water becomes a little brighter, the sense of depth less intense. You might pause again in the clearer, stable water, feeling the familiar gentle rocking. And then perhaps you reach a different kind of surface. Not the bright surface of wakefulness, but a shimmering, fluid surface where light and shadow play in fascinating patterns. On this surface, images might form, fleeting and colorful, like reflections in a disturbed pond. This is the state where dreams might appear, a different kind of activity on the quiet waters of sleep. This journey repeats, diving into stillness, rising through calmer waters, perhaps touching the shimmering surface of dreams before beginning the peaceful descent once more. Each cycle is a complete movement through the landscape of sleep, ensuring that all aspects of rest and restoration are addressed. There is a quiet comfort in this natural rhythm. It is a process that our bodies have perfected over countless generations. We are built to sleep, to surrender to this cyclical dance of consciousness and unconsciousness, of activity and profound stillness. There is nothing we need to do but allow it to happen, to trust the quiet wisdom within. As you continue to breathe softly and evenly, feel the gentle pull towards that inner stillness. Feel the quiet letting go in your muscles, the steady rhythm of your heart, the peaceful slowing of your mind. The journey downwards is not a struggle, but a release. Each stage welcomes you, offering its unique form of rest and renewal. Imagine yourself gently releasing any lingering tension, any thoughts that might be clinging to you. Let them drift away like leaves on a stream, flowing past and disappearing into the quiet distance. There is only this moment, this feeling of peaceful descent. The world is hushed, the night is deep. The journey through the stages of sleep is unfolding within you, a silent, gentle mystery. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Just this quiet presence, this surrender to the natural current that carries you towards deeper and deeper levels of rest. Feel the weight of your body, supported and secure. Imagine the softness beneath you, holding you gently as you settle further down. Your breathing is a soft tide, rising and falling, a natural rhythm that guides you deeper. Allow yourself to drift, to float, to sink gently into the quiet embrace of sleep. The stages are there, waiting to receive you, guiding you through the necessary cycles of rest. Trust the journey. It is a safe and peaceful descent into stillness. Let go and simply be carried. And so, we journey through the quiet landscape of sleep, moving through its gentle stages, each one a unique rhythm in the night. We have settled into the deeper slumber, the kind where the body rests profoundly, the breath slows, and the world outside seems far away. But as the night unfolds, a different kind of activity begins to stir within us. Past these deeper, quiet stages, there is a remarkable phase that awaits us. It is a phase where the brain awakens in a unique way, a state unlike waking and unlike the deepest sleep. We call this stage rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. During REM sleep, something fascinating happens. While your body remains profoundly still, almost completely relaxed, unable to move much at all, your eyes begin to dart back and forth beneath your closed eyelids. It's as if they are watching something, following a scene that only exists in the inner world. And indeed, they likely are. This is the stage where our most vivid and memorable dreams tend to unfold. The landscape of REM is a world of story, of image, of intense feeling. It is where the quiet whispers of the mind from other sleep stages can swell into full, immersive narratives. Think of it. You are lying perfectly still, safe and still, yet inside your mind, entire worlds are being created. You might be flying, or talking to someone you haven't seen in years, or navigating a strange, unfamiliar place. The possibilities are limitless because the architecture of this world is built by your own sleeping mind. During REM sleep, the electrical patterns in the brain shift dramatically. They become very active, much more like the patterns we see when we are awake and engaged with the world. Yet, the state is entirely different. Your body is in a state of near paralysis, a natural stillness that prevents you from acting out the often active scenes of your dreams. This is a built-in safeguard, a gentle stillness that keeps you safe while your mind wanders. The brain activity during REM is particularly concentrated in areas associated with emotion, memory, and imagination. It is as if these parts of the brain come alive, connecting and creating in a way that is distinct from our waking thought. The logical, analytical parts of the brain seem to quiet down somewhat, which might explain why the stories that unfold can sometimes be surreal or illogical, defying the usual rules of reality. Imagine your mind as a vast, dark theater during the night. For much of sleep, the lights are low, the stage is quiet. But then, in REM sleep, the lights come up, the scenery is erected with impossible speed, and the actors step onto the stage. The play begins, sometimes dramatic, sometimes mundane, sometimes utterly fantastical. These stories, these dreamscapes, can feel incredibly real while they are happening. You might feel the warmth of the sun, the texture of a surface, the rush of fear or joy. The emotions in REM dreams can be particularly potent, perhaps even more so than in waking life at times. The brain areas processing emotion are highly active, lending a deep, resonant feeling to the narrative that is unfolding. Why does the brain engage in this elaborate storytelling during REM sleep? It is one of the great, gentle mysteries we explore. There are many whispers about its purpose. Some suggest that REM sleep and the dreaming within it are crucial for processing emotions, perhaps allowing us to work through difficult feelings or experiences in a safe, contained environment. It is like a quiet, internal rehearsal space for the emotional landscape of life. Others propose that REM dreams are connected to memory consolidation, particularly the kind of memories related to skills, emotions, and spatial navigation. Perhaps the brain is replaying experiences, weaving them into the existing tapestry of our knowledge and understanding. It is a gentle sorting and filing, but instead of neat cabinets, the process takes the form of vibrant, often chaotic narratives. Another fascinating idea is that REM dreams are a kind of simulation. The brain is running through various scenarios, practicing responses, exploring possibilities without any real-world consequences. It is a safe space to experiment, to see how different situations might feel or unfold. Imagine your mind as a gentle simulator, running complex programs to help you navigate the potential pathways of life. And then there is the thought that perhaps dreams are not strictly purposeful in every detail. Perhaps they are simply a byproduct of the highly active brain state during REM sleep, a spontaneous creation arising from the surge of neural activity, like patterns forming in swirling mist. The conscious mind is offline, the usual filters are down, and the brain simply connects disparate pieces of information, memories, and images in novel ways, creating a unique and sometimes peculiar collage. Regardless of the exact why, the experience of REM dreaming is a profound part of our sleep cycle. It is a time when the inner world takes center stage, when the boundaries soften and the imagination is given free rein. When you awaken from a vivid REM dream, the feelings and images can linger. Sometimes they fade quickly, like mist in the morning sun, leaving only a vague impression. Other times they stay with you, the emotions resonating, the scenes replaying in your mind. This is a testament to the intensity of the experience while it was happening. Think of the quality of these dreams. They are often narrative, with a sense of progression, even if the plot is nonsensical. Characters appear, settings change, events unfold. It is a story crafted by your own sleeping mind. Where do these stories come from? From the vast reservoir of your experiences, your memories, your thoughts, your feelings. The brain weaves them together in new and unexpected patterns. The sounds, the sights, the feelings within a REM dream can be remarkably detailed. You might hear voices, feel the sensation of touch, see vibrant colors, or experience the pull of gravity in strange ways. This richness of sensory experience, even though it is all happening within the mind, contributes to the feeling of immersion, of being truly there in the dream world. During REM sleep, the body is incredibly still. If you were to observe someone in this stage, they would look profoundly relaxed, perhaps with a gentle rhythmic breathing. Yet inside this silent, still form, a riot of activity is occurring. The eyes are moving rapidly, the brain is buzzing with energy, and a complex, unfolding drama is being enacted. It is a beautiful paradox, the outer stillness and the inner dynamicism. This stillness of the body is a crucial part of the REM experience. Imagine if your muscles were active while you dreamt of running or flying. The stillness keeps you safely tucked in your bed while your mind explores the farthest reaches of possibility. It is a natural, protective state that accompanies the vivid inner journey. As the night progresses, we typically experience several cycles of sleep, moving through the stages, dipping into deep sleep, and then returning to lighter sleep before entering a period of REM. These REM periods tend to get longer as the night goes on. The dreams in the later REM cycles might feel even more detailed, more elaborate, perhaps even more strange or intense than those earlier in the night. It is as if the mind, having rested in the deeper stages, is now ready for more extended periods of this creative, narrative work. The theater stays open longer, the plays become more intricate, the stories unfold with greater depth and duration. The nature of these night stories is personal and unique to each dreamer. Your own experiences, your current thoughts and feelings, your memories, all contribute to the specific content and flavor of your dreams. They are a reflection, perhaps distorted or symbolic, of your inner landscape. Sometimes a dream might feel deeply significant, as though it carries a hidden message. Other times it might seem utterly random and meaningless, a jumble of unconnected images and events. Both are valid expressions of the dreaming mind. The brain in REM sleep is simply doing what it does, connecting, creating, generating experience. There is no need to force meaning onto every dream. Sometimes the beauty is simply in the experience itself, the gentle journey into a world conjured from thought and feeling. It is a natural process, a part of the restorative cycle of sleep. Consider the quiet wonder of it all. Every night, as you drift into sleep, you carry within you the potential for these inner journeys. The transition into REM sleep is a gentle gateway into a realm where the ordinary rules are suspended and the extraordinary can easily occur. The scientific exploration of REM sleep and dreaming is ongoing. We learn more with each quiet observation, each careful study. But there remains, and perhaps always will remain, a sense of mystery around why these vivid stories unfold in the darkness of our minds. Perhaps the full purpose is not something that can be easily defined or categorized. Perhaps it is a complex interplay of many functions: emotional processing, memory work, creative expression, or simply a natural state of the highly active resting brain. Whatever the precise scientific explanation, the personal experience of dreaming in REM sleep is a quiet marvel. It is a time when the mind, freed from the constraints of the physical world, is free to imagine, to feel, to create its own temporary realities. As you lie here now, perhaps feeling the gentle pull towards sleep, you can reflect on this internal landscape that awaits. As you drift into the stages of slumber, moving through the quiet rest, you know that the brain is preparing for its unique form of nocturnal awakening, the state of REM sleep, where the vivid theater of dreams opens its silent doors. Allow yourself to feel the peaceful stillness of your body. Imagine the gentle, darting movement of the eyes beneath closed lids, a silent signal that the inner story is about to begin. Trust in the natural process of sleep, the journey through its various stages, including the time dedicated to this remarkable imaginative state. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Simply allow yourself to be carried by the gentle current of sleep. As you drift further away from the waking world, you move closer to this landscape of the night, where thoughts become images, feelings become scenes, and the mind creates its own unique and often beautiful tapestry. The vivid landscape of REM is a gift of the sleeping mind, a reminder of the depth and complexity that lies within us, even in our most restful state. It is a quiet unfolding, a gentle mystery that plays out each night, adding another layer to the rich experience of being. So, relax now, completely and utterly. Let go of any remaining thoughts or tensions from the day. Embrace the stillness, the quiet, the gentle descent into sleep. You are safe and calm, ready to rest deeply, and, perhaps, to visit the vibrant world that awaits in the REM stage. The journey into the night continues, carrying you softly towards dream. And so, we drift into the deeper quiet, moving beyond the surface thoughts and settling into the gentle rhythm of the night. As the world outside grows still, a different kind of work begins within us. Sleep is not simply a pause, a blank space between days. It is a time of quiet industry, a hidden workshop where the raw materials of our waking hours are processed and transformed. Imagine your mind during the day like a busy marketplace, filled with sounds, sights, conversations, feelings, and facts. Information arrives constantly, a rushing stream of experiences. When night falls and sleep arrives, this marketplace closes down. But the day's yield is not left unattended. It is gathered, sorted, and carefully handled by unseen hands. One of the most profound and gentle tasks happening during our sleep, woven into the fabric of our dreams, is the quiet work of memory. Think of dreams as silent weavers or patient menders, working diligently in the dark to arrange the threads of our day, to mend the frayed edges of our understanding, and to weave new experiences into the larger tapestry of who we are. Every day, we gather countless tiny threads of information. The color of the sky, the sound of a voice, a new piece of knowledge, the feeling of a moment. Not all of these threads are equally important. Some are vibrant and strong, needing to be carefully preserved. Others are thin and wispy, perhaps meant to fade away. Our sleeping mind, through the process of dreaming, seems to possess a gentle wisdom in selecting and arranging these threads. It's as if it takes the tangled skeins of our daily experiences and patiently untangles them one by one. It looks at the bright threads of significant events, the muted threads of routine activities, the perhaps darker threads of challenging moments, and the shimmering threads of new discoveries. This quiet weaving is essential. Our ability to learn, to adapt, to navigate the world relies on our memories. But simply collecting experiences is not enough. They must be organized, understood, and integrated. Dreams, in their mysterious way, appear to help with this integration. They take the new threads and connect them to the existing pattern, strengthening the overall structure of our knowledge and understanding. Consider learning something new during the day, perhaps a new skill, a new language, or simply a new route to a familiar place. You practice, you focus, you absorb. But the true embedding of that learning often happens not while you are awake and trying, but later when you are asleep and dreaming. It's during the quiet hours that the connections are reinforced, the pathways are strengthened, like invisible hands carefully stitching the new threads into place. The process is not forceful or demanding. It is gentle, almost passive from our perspective as the dreamer. We are unaware of the meticulous sorting and stitching happening within the hidden workshop of our sleep. We may experience fragmented images, strange narratives, or vivid emotional landscapes in our dreams. And these outward manifestations could well be the echoes of this deeper organizational work. The weaver sorts not just facts, but also feelings. Memories are not just recordings of events, they are also infused with emotions. Dreams seem to work with these emotional threads as well. Perhaps they soften the sharp edges of difficult feelings associated with a memory, making it less raw, easier to integrate. Or perhaps they reinforce the positive feelings linked to a happy event, making that memory shine brighter. Imagine the weaver holding a difficult thread, one that is knotted or frayed. Instead of discarding it, the weaver might work patiently, smoothing it out, finding a way to weave it into the pattern so that it no longer disrupts the flow, but perhaps adds a unique texture or color to the overall design. In this way, dreams might help us process and make sense of our emotional lives, integrating challenging experiences into our personal narrative in a gentler way than they were lived. This gentle work of memory processing seems particularly active during certain phases of sleep, phases often associated with the most vivid dreaming. It is as if, when the mind is most liberated from the constraints of the waking world, it is best able to sift through the day's harvest and begin the intricate work of leaving. Think about the sheer volume of information our senses take in every second we are awake. Most of it is filtered out, deemed unnecessary. But even the information that makes it past the initial filters needs further refinement. Our memories are not like perfect video recordings. They are constructed and reconstructed, shaped by our existing knowledge and our emotional state. Dreams appear to be part of this active, constructive process. They might prune away the less important details, like a careful gardener trimming back unnecessary growth to allow the main plants to flourish. They might highlight the connections between different pieces of information, drawing lines between seemingly unrelated ideas, creating a richer, more complex web of understanding. Consider the simple act of remembering a new face and linking it to a name. During the day, you might focus intently, but it is often after a period of sleep that the connection feels more solid, more easily retrieved. This is the quiet weaver, having taken the thread of the face and the thread of the name, carefully knotting them together within the memory network. The tapestry of our memory is vast and ever-growing. Each new day adds new threads, new colors, new patterns. The work of the dream weaver is to ensure that this growth is not chaotic, but integrated and meaningful. Without this process, our minds might become cluttered, overwhelmed by the sheer unprocessed experience. This gentle sorting and weaving is not just about remembering facts. It's also about building our understanding of the world and ourselves. It's about building new experiences into our personal history, about learning from our mistakes, about strengthening our sense of identity. The patterns woven in the quiet of the night become the foundation for our thoughts and actions when we are awake. The mystery remains, of course. We can observe the effects of this nocturnal work: improved learning, better problem solving, the fading of less relevant details, but the precise mechanism, the exact language of the Dreamweaver, is still largely hidden from us. We can only infer its presence through its gentle effects. Perhaps the strange narratives of dreams, the illogical juxtapositions, the shifts in time and place, are simply the subjective experience of this sorting and weaving process. Like watching the reverse side of an intricate tapestry, where the threads are visible but the full picture is obscured, the dream narrative might be our consciousness's fragmented glimpse into the deep, unconscious work of memory integration. It is a comforting thought, is it not? Knowing that while we are resting, while our conscious minds are surrendered to sleep, a diligent and gentle process is underway. Our memories are being tended to, sorted, strengthened, and integrated. It is a fundamental aspect of our mental health and well-being, happening automatically, effortlessly, in the soft darkness. There is no need for us to understand it fully or to direct it. It is a natural function, as innate as breathing or the beating of our heart. The quiet weavers work tirelessly, taking the chaotic input of the day and creating order, transforming raw experience into lasting knowledge and understanding. As you feel yourself drifting deeper into rest, feel a sense of ease knowing that this quiet, gentle work is beginning within you. The threads of today, with all their complexities and colors, are being gathered. The silent weavers are preparing their looms. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Simply allow the process to unfold. Allow your mind to release its hold on the day's events. They are in good hands, the gentle hands of the dream weavers. They will sort, they will mend, they will weave, creating new patterns in the fabric of your memory. You can trust this process. It has been happening for all of your life, silently supporting your growth and learning. Feel the weight leaving your limbs, the tension draining from your shoulders. Your breath is slow and steady, a gentle rhythm accompanying the invisible work within. The memories are being handled with care, not forced or rushed, but patiently and gently integrated into the larger picture. The vibrant threads, the muted threads, the challenging threads, the joyful threads, all are being considered, finding their place in the growing design. Sleep is providing the quiet space and the necessary conditions for this intricate work to happen. There is a beauty in this unseen process, a gentle mystery unfolding as the hours of darkness pass. Our dreams, these often fleeting visions, are perhaps the visible surface of a much deeper and more fundamental activity, the constant refinement and organization of our inner world, ensuring that the experiences of today become the wisdom of tomorrow. So rest now, deeply and peacefully. Allow the quiet weavers to do their work. Surrender to the gentle mystery of sleep, knowing that your mind is using this precious time to strengthen, to integrate, to make sense of the world you navigate when you are awake. The threads are being woven, the patterns are forming, all in the soft, dark quiet of the night. Drift deeper now into the peaceful embrace of sleep. We have been wandering through the quiet landscapes of sleep, exploring the gentle mysteries that unfold when the world outside grows still. And while we often focus on how sleep helps our bodies mend or our minds organize memories, there is another, perhaps even more tender, work that happens in the darkness of night. It is the quiet tending of the heart, the soft settling of our feelings. Think of the day as a kind of journey, filled with encounters and experiences. Some moments might be bright and easy, like walking in warm sunlight. Others might be challenging, like navigating a sudden storm or a winding path. Each of these moments leaves a trace, a ripple of feeling within us. Joy, worry, curiosity, a touch of frustration, a wave of peace. These are all passengers carried within us throughout the day. When sleep arrives, it offers a gentle harbor. It is a time when the constant demands of the waking world recede, allowing our inner world to find a different rhythm. And part of this rhythm is the slow, deliberate work of processing the emotional weight of the day. Imagine your mind as a quiet garden at dusk. Throughout the day, various flowers bloom, some vibrant and sweet-smelling, others perhaps a little thorny or fragile. Sleep comes as the gentle gardener, not to prune harshly, but to tend softly, to water, to offer support where needed. During sleep, particularly during certain stages, our brain activity shifts in ways that seem specifically designed to help us make sense of our emotional experiences. It's not like sitting down and logically thinking through a problem, it's a more intuitive, perhaps even unconscious process. There is a period of sleep known as slow-wave sleep. This is the deep, restorative part of the night, where the brain waves are slow and sweeping, like long, calm breaths. In this stage, it is thought that the brain helps to integrate the factual information from the day, perhaps separating the raw details of an event from the intensity of the emotion it caused. It's like filing away the story in one place, while the feeling it evoked is gently acknowledged and perhaps softened. Then there is REM sleep, the stage often associated with vivid dreams. This is a very different landscape. The brain becomes highly active, almost as if it were awake, but the body remains still, paralyzed in a gentle way to prevent us from acting out our dreams. During REM sleep, the brain seems to revisit emotional experiences, but in a safer context, detached from the immediate threat or intensity of the original moment. Think of a difficult conversation you might have had during the day. In the moment, it might have felt overwhelming, perhaps triggering strong feelings of anxiety or sadness. When you are awake, these feelings can linger, sharp and immediate. But during REM sleep, your mind might revisit elements of that situation, not necessarily in a literal replay, but perhaps through symbolic images or fragmented scenes in a dream. What seems to happen during this stage is a kind of emotional desensitization. The emotional charge of a memory can be reduced. It's like turning the volume down on a loud sound. The memory is still there, the event still happened, but the raw, overwhelming feeling associated with it begins to soften. The brain area often linked to strong, immediate emotions, like fear or anger, is less active during REM sleep compared to when we are awake and directly experiencing those feelings. At the same time, areas associated with processing and integrating information, the parts that help us make sense of the world, remain active. This balance allows the sleeping brain to work through emotional content in a way that helps to regulate and understand it without being flooded by the intensity. It is this quiet processing that helps us wake up feeling a little lighter, a little more able to cope with the challenges of the day ahead. A problem that seemed insurmountable at bedtime might still be there in the morning, but our emotional response to it might feel less sharp, less overwhelming. Sleep has helped to take the edge off. Consider the simple act of crying. When we cry, we are expressing strong emotion. And often, after a good cry, we feel a sense of release, a settling. Sleep offers a different, internal kind of emotional release and settling. It is not the outward expression of tears, but an inward, neurological process that helps to bring a sense of calm to our inner landscape. When we don't get enough sleep, or when our sleep is disrupted, this gentle work is interrupted. We might find ourselves more irritable, more sensitive, less able to handle small stresses. The emotional volume control seems to be broken, leaving us feeling more reactive to the world around us. It's as if the emotional traces of the day haven't been properly tended, leaving them raw and exposed. Imagine those little ripples of feeling from the day. Without the quiet processing of sleep, those ripples can build upon each other, becoming larger waves that are harder to navigate. Sleep allows the waters to become calm again, smoothing out the surface. This is why getting good, restful sleep is so important, not just for our physical health or our ability to think clearly, but for our emotional well-being. It is an essential part of being able to feel balanced, resilient, and capable of navigating the ups and downs of life with a sense of inner peace. Sometimes, when we dream, the images might seem strange or disconnected, but perhaps, beneath the surface, they are the mind's gentle way of working with feelings that are hard to articulate in waking words. A feeling of being overwhelmed might appear as a dream of being lost in a tangled forest. A feeling of being held back might manifest as trying to run but moving very slowly. These dream images are not always literal translations of our feelings, but they can be symbolic representations, the sleeping mind's attempt to give shape and form to the intangible world of emotion. And by presenting these feelings in the detached, often bizarre, landscape of a dream, the sleeping mind can process them without the same level of intense, immediate distress they might cause in the waking world. It is a very personal, internal alchemy. The raw materials of our daily experiences, the feelings they evoke, are taken into the quiet workshop of sleep and transformed. They are sorted, filtered, and integrated in ways that help us to cope, to adapt, and to maintain our emotional equilibrium. Think of sleep as a kind of nightly therapy session, but one without words, conducted in the silent language of the brain's own rhythms and activities. It helps us to consolidate not just facts, but feelings. It helps us to learn from our emotional experiences, to understand them better, even if we are not consciously aware of this learning taking place. The vulnerability we feel during sleep, this surrender to unconsciousness, is also a time of great inner strength and healing. It is when our deepest systems are at work, repairing, restoring, and reconciling the many different parts of ourselves. The heart's soft work in sleep is a testament to the incredible complexity and wisdom of our own being. It is a reminder that even in stillness, there is activity. Even in darkness, there is processing and integration. This gentle settling of feelings is not about erasing difficult emotions, but about integrating them into the larger tapestry of our experience. It is about learning to carry them, to understand their meaning, and to move forward without being constantly weighed down by their initial intensity. When you wake up feeling refreshed and calm, even after a challenging day, part of that peace is likely the result of this quiet, unseen work that happened while you slept. Your sleeping mind and heart were collaborating, ensuring that the emotional echoes of the day were heard, acknowledged, and gently filed away, leaving you ready to face a new dawn. Allow yourself to appreciate this quiet process. As you prepare for sleep, perhaps take a moment to gently acknowledge the feelings you are carrying. There is no need to analyze them or solve them in this moment. Simply acknowledge them, like placing them gently in a soft container, knowing that your sleeping mind will tend to them with care. Trust in the wisdom of your sleep. Trust that this natural process is designed to help you find balance, to help your heart settle, and to allow your emotional world to find a sense of ease. The journey of sleep is not just a physical rest, it is an emotional reset. It is a time when the soul can catch its breath, when the feelings can find their quiet place, and when we can prepare ourselves inwardly and outwardly for the life that awaits us when we open our eyes again. So, as you drift towards sleep, know that you are entering a space of gentle healing. Your heart is in good hands, the capable, quiet hands of your own sleeping self. It is a safe space for feelings to settle, for emotions to soften, and for your inner world to find a sense of profound peace. Rest now and allow this gentle work to unfold. Let the calm waters of sleep soothe any turbulence, leaving you refreshed, restored, and emotionally renewed. Let us continue our quiet journey into the landscapes of sleep. We have drifted through the gentle mist of dream mysteries, observing how these nighttime stories unfold within us. As we settle deeper into this calm space, let's consider another soft idea about what dreams might be doing while we rest so peacefully. Imagine your mind not just as a quiet library storing memories or a gentle river flowing with thoughts, but also, sometimes, as a sort of quiet laboratory. Not a busy, noisy place with bright lights, but a calm, soft space where gentle experiments can take place. Some thoughtful minds suggest that dreaming might be a way for our brains to create gentle simulations. What do we mean by a simulation? Think of it like a practice run, a soft rehearsal. In the quiet theater of your sleeping mind, scenarios can unfold. It's like your brain is gently playing out possibilities, exploring different paths without you needing to lift a finger or even open your eyes. Why might our brains do this? Well, the world we navigate when we are awake is complex. It presents many different situations, many gentle challenges, many moments where we need to understand what is happening and perhaps decide what to do. During the day, we are actively involved, making choices and experiencing consequences. But the sleeping mind offers a different kind of space. It offers a safe, contained environment. Within the soft boundaries of a dream, your mind can explore different interactions. It can conjure up a conversation with someone and see how it might feel. It can place you in a slightly unusual situation and see how your dream self reacts. None of it is real in the waking sense, but the gentle feeling, the sense of presence, can be quite vivid. This allows for a kind of gentle learning, a processing that happens quietly beneath the surface of conscious thought. Your brain might be reviewing social cues, practicing how to navigate emotional landscapes, or even rehearsing physical movements, though you lie perfectly still in your bed. Consider a gentle skill you are learning, perhaps something simple like sketching or humming a new tune. Sometimes, even when you are not actively practicing, your mind might softly replay the movements or the sounds. Dreaming might amplify this quiet process. It could be a space where the pathways in your brain associated with that skill are gently reinforced, like tracing a line in soft sand. This isn't about solving complex problems in your sleep, not usually in a direct, logical way we understand when awake. It's more subtle, more about feeling and experiencing possibilities. It's like a soft breeze rustling through leaves, gently shifting them around to see how they might land. Think about times you've had a dream that felt like practicing something. Maybe you dreamed you were running gently through a field, even if you aren't a runner in waking life. Your brain might be running the simulation of coordinated movement, of spatial awareness, of navigating a changing environment. It's a soft workout for the mind's internal maps and motor plans. Or perhaps you've dreamed of a conversation that felt important. Even if the words were nonsensical upon waking, the dream might have been simulating the experience of communicating, the subtle dance of turn-taking, the feeling of expressing yourself or listening to another. It's gentle social rehearsal in a private theater. This idea of simulation also connects gently to how we process potential future events. Sometimes our worries or hopes for what might happen creep into our dreams. These dreams can feel intense, but they might also be your brain's way of creating a soft model of that future. It's like your mind is saying, okay, let's gently play out this scenario and see what it feels like. This isn't necessarily about predicting the future, but more about preparing the self for potential emotional or practical landscapes. If you are gently preparing for a change, your dreams might simulate aspects of that change, allowing you to emotionally touch upon it in a safe space before it arrives in your waking life. It's like dipping your toe into gentle waters before deciding to wade in. This simulation theory also offers a gentle perspective on dreams that feel unsettling or contain elements of challenge. If you dream of facing a gentle obstacle or navigating a slightly tricky situation, your brain might be providing you with a safe environment to practice coping mechanisms. In the dream, you can experience the feeling of the challenge without the real-world consequences. It's like a soft fire drill for your inner resilience. You might fall in the dream, but you don't get hurt. You might get lost, but you always find your way back, even if the path is unclear. These are soft explorations of difficulty, allowing the mind to gently engage with feelings of vulnerability or uncertainty and perhaps navigate them with a sense of calm resourcefulness. This idea fits beautifully with the observation that dreams often feel fragmented or strange. A simulation doesn't need to be perfectly realistic to be useful. Think of simple models used in gentle science. They capture the essence of a process without needing to replicate every single detail. Similarly, a dream simulation might focus on the emotional core of a situation or the basic structure of an interaction, leaving out the fine-grained details that make waking life so predictable. The strangeness of dreams, the way elements combine in unexpected ways, might even be part of the simulation's design. By mixing familiar people, places, and objects in novel combinations, the brain might be creating truly new scenarios to explore. It's like a gentle artist rearranging familiar shapes into a fresh composition, inviting a new way of seeing. Consider the vastness of possibilities that exist in the world, and even more so, the vastness of possibilities within our own lives. We cannot physically experience every single potential path or decision, but perhaps through the soft canvas of dreams, our minds can take gentle detours, explore branching paths, and visit alternative realities. It's like having access to countless quiet side rooms in the house of your mind, each one furnished with a different possibility to explore softly. This perspective suggests that dreaming is a highly active process, even though you are completely at rest. While your body is still, your mind is gently working, simulating, rehearsing, exploring. It is a silent engine running soft programs for your benefit. This simulation process might be closely linked to memory consolidation, which we touched upon gently before. As your brain sorts and stores memories during sleep, it might also be running simulations based on these memories. It's like reviewing the photographs from a gentle journey, and then imagining what it would be like to take a slightly different route, or visit a nearby quiet spot you missed. The memories provide the material, and the dream simulation uses that material to explore possibilities. So, when you dream of a familiar place that is subtly different, it might be your brain simulating a variation of that environment. When you dream of people you know acting in unexpected ways, it might be a simulation exploring different facets of your relationships or different social dynamics. This gentle simulation work isn't always easy to decipher when you wake up. Dreams don't usually come with a clear explanation of what they were simulating or why. Their meaning is often felt more than logically understood, like the soft warmth of the sun on your skin that you just accept without needing to measure its temperature precisely. The gentle mystery of dreams persists, but viewing them as soft simulations offers a comforting perspective. It suggests that even in our deepest rest, our minds are engaged in a useful, even playful activity. They are preparing us gently for the waking world, exploring the boundaries of possibility and reinforcing the delicate architecture of our understanding. It's like a quiet workshop running all night, not to build anything tangible, but to gently refine the tools of perception, interaction, and navigation that we use every day. The dreams are the blueprints, the models, the soft prototypes being tested in the mind's private space. This simulation idea also helps explain why sometimes dreams feel so intensely real, even if their content is fantastical. The brain is simulating the experience of reality, the feeling of being there, of interacting, of feeling emotions. Even if you are flying through the air in your dream, the sensation of movement or the feeling of wonder can be profoundly real because your brain is simulating those physical and emotional states. The realm of dreams, seen through this lens, is a vast, gentle playground for the mind. It is a space where the rules of the waking world can be softened or suspended, allowing for free exploration of ideas, feelings, and potential actions. It's a creative space, yes, but perhaps its creativity serves this deeper purpose of gentle preparation and exploration. Think of it as a continuous, soft hum beneath the surface of consciousness. While you are busy living your waking life, gathering experiences and information, your sleeping mind is quietly processing this data, running simulations to see how it all fits together, and how you might fit into different configurations of reality. It's a constant, gentle update of your internal software, testing new features and patching existing ones in a safe, offline environment. And the dreams are the visible output of this process, the strange, compelling, sometimes beautiful reports from the simulation chambers of your mind. As we drift deeper into this thought, let the idea settle gently within you. Your dreaming mind is not just a passive receiver of random images. It is an active, gentle explorer, a soft scientist running experiments, a quiet playwright rehearsing scenes. It is building internal models of the world and of yourself within that world. It is testing the waters of future possibilities. It is reinforcing the learning from the day. All this happens quietly, without fanfare, while you are tucked safely in your gentle slumber. The gentle mystery remains, of course. We still don't fully understand the precise language of dreams or the exact algorithms of these mental simulations. But the concept itself is a comforting one, suggesting purpose and gentle activity even in the deepest parts of our rest. Allow yourself to float with this idea. Imagine your sleeping brain as a calm ocean, and the dreams as gentle currents beneath the surface, quietly moving things around, shaping the underwater landscape in subtle ways. These currents are simulating different flows, different paths, different interactions, preparing the ocean for the gentle tides and waves of the waking world. This perspective can also gently soften the impact of troubling dreams. If a dream is a simulation of a difficult situation, it means you experienced it safely within the confines of sleep. You were given a chance to feel the edges of it without being fully immersed. It's like reading about a storm in a book rather than being caught in its full force. The gentle nature of the simulation is key. While dreams can feel intense, they lack the real-world consequences that make waking challenges truly impactful in a physical or irreversible way. You can fall from a great height in a dream and wake up perfectly safe in your bed. You can face a fearsome creature and simply fade from the scene. This safety allows for fearless exploration within the simulation. Your mind is free to experiment with reactions and behaviors without the constraints of real-world risk. It can try out a response in the dream and see how it feels, even if that response would be impractical or impossible when awake. So, the next time you recall a dream, whether it felt like a grand adventure or a quiet, strange moment, consider it through this gentle lens. It might have been your mind running a quiet simulation, exploring a possibility, rehearsing a feeling, or reinforcing a pathway. It's a gentle reminder of the complex and purposeful work that goes on within us, even when we are completely at rest. The sleeping mind is not idle. It is busy with its gentle tasks, preparing us, processing for us, exploring for us. Let this thought settle softly. Your dreams are not just random noise or strange, meaningless stories. They are potential glimpses into the quiet, simulated worlds your brain creates each night. They are a gentle internal exploration of possibility, a soft rehearsal for the grand performance of waking life. As we gently conclude this exploration of dreams as simulation, feel the calm wash over you. The gentle work of your mind continues as you drift further into peaceful sleep. There is comfort in knowing that even in the quietest hours, your inner world is softly active, tending to your needs in ways you are only just beginning to understand. Rest now, knowing your sleeping mind is a gentle, wise simulator, preparing you softly for whatever the new day may hold. Let the peace deepen. Let the stillness settle. You are safe, you are calm, you are drifting. As the world outside begins its own quiet rest, settling into the hushed stillness of night, a different kind of world awakens within us. It is a world not of action or outer movement, but one of subtle internal energy. Even as our muscles relax and our breathing deepens, the intricate network within our skull, the marvelous organ we call the brain, continues its ceaseless work. Sleep is not a state of simple shutdown, a complete ceasing of activity. Think of it more as a change in the rhythm, a shift in focus. It's like the bustling daytime market closing down, but the caretakers and planners remain inside, preparing for the next day, perhaps rearranging things or tending to inventory in a different, less visible way. Our brain, too, enters a state of purposeful, though often mysterious, internal activity. Within the quiet dark, there is a kind of hum. It is the gentle vibration of countless tiny connections, firing and communicating in patterns that are distinct from our waking thoughts. During the day, our brain is primarily focused outward, processing the flood of sensory information, making decisions, planning actions, engaging with the external world. But at night, especially as we drift into deeper sleep, the focus turns inward. We move through different stages of sleep, each marked by its own characteristic patterns of brain activity. There are periods of slow, rolling waves, like a gentle tide washing over the mind. In these stages, often called non-REM sleep, the brain seems to be consolidating memories, perhaps replaying recent experiences or integrating new information with older knowledge. The dreams that occur in these stages can feel different, perhaps more like simple thoughts or fragmented images, less like a vivid story. They are like quiet whispers of the day's echoes. Then comes another phase, distinct and intriguing, the phase known as REM sleep, standing for rapid eye movement. Despite the body being almost entirely still in a state of gentle paralysis, the brain activity during REM sleep paradoxically speeds up, resembling that of wakefulness. It is during these periods that our most vivid narrative dreams typically unfold. Why does the brain become so active during REM sleep, creating these sometimes fantastical, sometimes mundane, sometimes utterly bizarre scenarios we experience as dreams? One perspective is that this heightened activity is simply the brain continuing its fundamental processes, but without the constraint of external input. It is like a machine running, exploring its own capabilities and connections, perhaps practicing different pathways. Imagine the brain as an incredibly complex orchestra. During the day, it plays a symphony directed by the conductor of consciousness, responding to the sheet music of the external world. At night, particularly in REM sleep, the conductor steps away, but the musicians keep playing. They might improvise, explore different melodies, combine instruments in unusual ways. This internal jam session could be what we perceive as a dream. This quiet hum in the mind might be the sound of the brain processing emotions, sorting through experiences, or even simulating social interactions. It's a safe space where possibilities can be explored without real-world consequences. A place where worries can be played out, albeit in symbolic or distorted forms, or where creative connections can be forged between seemingly unrelated ideas. Think of the brain as a vast library. During the day, we are busy checking out books, reading specific volumes, finding information for particular tasks. At night, perhaps the librarians are busy shelving books, but not necessarily in the order they came in. They might group them by color or size or just randomly stack them in interesting piles. They might find connections between books that seem disparate on the surface. This internal sorting and rearranging could manifest as the nonlinear associative nature of dreams. The subtle activity of the brain during sleep is not always directed or logical, just like many of our dreams. This could be because the parts of the brain responsible for critical thinking and logical reasoning, like the prefrontal cortex, are less active during REM sleep. This allows the more emotional and visual parts of the brain, like the amygdala and visual cortex, to take center stage. The result is a world driven by feeling and imagery rather than strict logic or consequence. It's a world where flying might feel natural or meeting a talking animal feels perfectly normal, at least while we are in the dream itself. This ongoing brain activity, this quiet hum, could also be related to learning and memory consolidation. Research suggests that sleep plays a crucial role in strengthening the connections between neurons that represent new information and pruning away weaker connections. Dreams might be a byproduct of this process, like the sparks that fly off a blacksmith's hammer as they shape metal. The sparks themselves aren't the goal, but they are a visible sign of the work being done. The gentle mystery here is that while we can observe the patterns of brainwaves and measure the activity, the precise meaning of this internal hum, as it translates into our subjective dream experience, remains elusive. Is it pure random firing, which our conscious mind then tries to make sense of upon waking? Is it a purposeful processing of information? Is it simply the brain entertaining itself? Perhaps it is a little bit of all these things. The brain, a naturally active organ, continues to operate even when the body is at rest. This operation involves the firing of neurons, the communication between different brain regions, the cycling through various states of alertness and processing. And this inherent activity, when filtered through the unique architecture and experiences of each individual mind, emerges as the phenomenon of dreaming. It is like listening to the distant sound of a complex machine running in the quiet of the night. You can hear the whirring and clicking, the steady rhythm, perhaps the occasional unexpected noise. You know work is being done, even if you cannot see the specific tasks or understand the overall purpose. Our dreams are the sounds, the images, the feelings that arise from the continuous, subtle, internal operation of our brain during sleep. Even during the quieter stages of non-REM sleep, there is activity. The slow waves reflect a different kind of processing, perhaps a deeper consolidation of information, a more structural organization. The dreams here might be less dramatic, more like a thought drifting by, or a simple scene. It's a different frequency of the internal hum, quieter, slower, but still present. Consider the sheer amount of information our brain takes in during a single day. Every sight, sound, smell, touch, every thought and interaction. It's an enormous volume. Sleep, and the brain activity within it, might be essential for sorting through this influx, deciding what to keep, what to discard, how to file it all away. Dreams could be a glimpse into this filing process, a peek into the temporary holding areas where information is being sorted, leading to strange juxtapositions and unexpected connections. The very nature of dreams, often being fragmented, illogical, and emotionally charged, aligns with the idea of the brain operating in a state where executive control is reduced. It's like the rational editor has gone to sleep, and the creative, associative parts of the mind are left to assemble whatever material is at hand. This results in narratives that don't follow the strict rules of waking reality, but instead flow according to the brain's own internal logic, or lack thereof. This subtle, continuous activity is fundamental to the brain's health and function. Sleep is not just about resting the body, it's crucial for maintaining the brain's complex machinery. The internal hum of processing and reorganization is vital for cognitive function, memory, learning, and emotional regulation. Dreams, as a manifestation of some of this activity, could therefore be seen as a natural and necessary part of the brain's maintenance cycle. It's a gentle flow, like a stream running through the landscape of the mind. Sometimes the stream is calm and slow, reflecting the quiet processing of non-REM sleep. Sometimes it becomes a rushing river, swirling with images and emotions, reflecting the heightened activity of REM sleep. Both are part of the same continuous waterway, shaped by the terrain it passes through, which is the unique architecture of our individual brain. The mystery persists, of course. We can describe the brain activity, identify the stages, and analyze the content of dreams. But the subjective experience, the feeling of being in a dream, and the deeper significance, if any, of the specific narratives that unfold remain deeply personal and somewhat enigmatic. Perhaps that is part of their beauty, this quiet, internal world that comes alive when the external world fades away. As we lie in the stillness, feeling the gentle rise and fall of our breath, it can be comforting to know that within the quiet dark, this marvelous organ is still at work, processing, connecting, exploring its own landscape. The quiet hum is a sign of life, of intricate processes unfolding, creating the ephemeral, fascinating world of dreams. This subtle activity is a reminder that even in our deepest rest, we are still wonderfully complex beings. Our minds are not simply switching off, but shifting gears, entering a different mode of operation, one that is essential for our well-being. The dreams that arise from this activity are fleeting echoes of this internal work, glimpses into the secret life of the sleeping brain. Allowing ourselves to drift into sleep is to enter this internal world, to let the quiet hum of the mind carry us into its unique landscape. There is nothing we need to do, nowhere we need to be. We simply allow the natural processes to unfold. The brain knows what it needs to do. Its subtle activity is purposeful, even if the purpose remains partially hidden from our waking understanding. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the peaceful stillness of your body. Imagine the quiet hum within your own mind, the soft activity of the brain as it settles into its nighttime work. It is a gentle, natural process, a fundamental part of who we are. There is a profound sense of peace in simply being present with this internal stillness and knowing that within it, a quiet world is coming to life. This world of subtle activity, this quiet hum, is the foundation upon which the gentle mystery of dreaming rests. It is a world waiting to unfold as we drift deeper into rest. And so, we find ourselves drifting further into the quiet mystery of dreams. We've explored the gentle ebb and flow of sleep itself and the peculiar state where dreaming unfolds. Now, let us turn our quiet attention to the language dreams speak. For dreams, you see, rarely speak in plain sentences or direct statements. Instead, they converse in whispers of symbols. Think of it as a different kind of poetry. Our waking minds are often quite literal, dealing with facts and logic and words laid out in order. But the dreaming mind works in a more fluid, more visual way. It gathers impressions, feelings, memories, and thoughts, and weaves them into a tapestry of images and events that feel real while they are happening, yet are often quite unlike our everyday reality. These images, these events, these quiet moments in the dream world can act as symbols. They stand for something beyond their simple appearance. A house might not just be a house. It could feel like a symbol for your sense of self, with different rooms representing different aspects of your inner world. An open field might symbolize possibility or freedom, while a winding path could feel like your life's journey unfolding. It is as if the sleeping brain is sorting through the day's experiences, processing emotions, and connecting ideas, but doing so not with words, but with a gentle parade of pictures and feelings. This symbolic language allows the mind to touch upon complex thoughts or deep emotions in a way that might be too overwhelming or difficult to confront directly in our waking state. It's a softer approach, a veiled conversation with ourselves. Consider the objects that appear in dreams. A simple chair might feel significant. Perhaps it symbolizes rest or waiting or a place of comfort. A tree might stand for growth or stability or connection to something larger. The meaning is not fixed, not written in a universal dictionary of dreams. It is personal. It is shaped by your own experiences, your feelings, your own life's gentle unfolding. This is a crucial point to remember about dream symbols. While some symbols seem to resonate across many people, like water often feeling connected to emotions, the specific feeling or meaning of that symbol is unique to the dreamer. A gentle river might symbolize peaceful emotional flow for one person, while a stormy sea might represent turbulent feelings for another. A locked door could mean a feeling of being blocked, or it could represent a hidden opportunity waiting to be discovered. The atmosphere of the dream, the feeling it carries, provides the gentle context for understanding the symbol. People can also appear as symbols in dreams. Sometimes they are simply themselves, interacting in a dream event. But at other times, a person might stand for a quality or an aspect of your own self, or perhaps a feeling associated with them. Seeing a wise old figure might symbolize your own inner wisdom or a need for guidance. Meeting a childhood friend might symbolize a connection to your past or a part of yourself that felt freer then. It is not about the specific person so much as what they represent to you in that quiet, internal dream space. Places, too, often act as symbols. Visiting a familiar childhood home in a dream could symbolize a return to feelings of security or perhaps a need to revisit past experiences. Exploring an unknown city might symbolize venturing into new areas of your life or personality. The state of the place matters. Is it well lit and welcoming, or dark and mysterious? These details add gentle layers to the symbolic meaning. Actions in dreams are also part of this silent language. Flying might symbolize freedom or overcoming obstacles. Falling, a common dream experience, could symbolize feelings of insecurity or losing control, but it often ends gently before hitting the ground, as if the mind is exploring the feeling without the full impact. Running, whether towards something or away, can reflect feelings of urgency, pursuit, or avoidance in your waking life. It is important not to force a meaning onto a dream symbol. The language is often subtle, like a whisper in the quiet night. Trying too hard to analyze can sometimes make the meaning recede. Instead, simply holding the image gently in your mind, feeling the emotions it evoked in the dream, can sometimes allow a quiet understanding to surface, not as a clear statement, but as a soft feeling or a gentle intuition. Why does the mind use this symbolic language? Perhaps because it is less confrontational. The dreaming state allows the mind to explore difficult feelings or complex situations through metaphor and imagery, making them less sharp, less direct. It's like looking at a reflection in softly rippling water rather than staring directly into a bright light. They can also help to process emotions. If you felt overwhelmed by a situation during the day, your dream might contain images of water rising or walls closing in. These symbols embody the feeling of being overwhelmed, allowing the mind to experience and perhaps process it in a contained internal space. It's a way for the mind to feel their way through experiences rather than just thinking their way through them. They can also help to connect disparate ideas. The dreaming mind is less constrained by logic. It can link seemingly unrelated things through shared feelings or visual similarities. This free association, guided by symbolic imagery, might help the brain form new connections or insights, perhaps gently laying the groundwork for creative ideas or solutions that might surface later when you are awake. Sometimes, the symbols feel strange or nonsensical. This is also part of the language. The dreaming mind isn't bound by the rules of reality. It can create fantastical scenarios and impossible juxtapositions. These strange symbols might reflect feelings of confusion or the mind simply exploring possibilities outside the box of waking thought. They are not necessarily meant to be logical, they are meant to feel. The emotional tone of the dream is often the most direct part of its communication. Did the dream feel peaceful, anxious, joyful, sad? This overarching feeling acts like the tone of voice in a conversation. A dream filled with bright, gentle colors and soft sounds, even if the specific images are unclear, likely carries a feeling of peace or contentment. A dream that feels dark and heavy, regardless of the precise symbols, might be communicating feelings of unease or sadness. The symbols then add detail and nuance to this emotional landscape. Think of dreams as letters written to yourself in a script you are still learning to read. Each symbol is like a unique character or word, its meaning shifting slightly depending on the other words and the overall mood of the letter. There isn't one single correct interpretation for any symbol. What a cat symbolizes for one person might be very different for another, depending on their history with cats and the feeling the cat evoked in the dream. Was the cat purring contentedly or hissing nervously? The process of gently reflecting on dream symbols is not about finding definitive answers, but about fostering a deeper connection with your inner world. It is like tending to a quiet garden. noticing which flowers are blooming, the colors they show, the gentle scent they carry. You don't need to name every plant or understand its botanical classification. Simply observing and appreciating its presence is often enough. Similarly, with dream symbols, simply recalling the image, the feeling, and perhaps sensing a gentle connection to something in your waking life can be a meaningful interaction with this quiet internal language. It is less about figuring the dream out and more about letting the dream speak to you, softly, in its own unique way. The symbols are not meant to confuse or frighten you. They are simply the tools the sleeping mind uses to process the vast amount of information and feeling it encounters. They are like the quiet hum of a distant engine, the soft rustle of leaves in a breeze, the gentle lapping of water on a shore. Sounds and sensations that convey information and feeling without needing explicit explanation. So, when you recall a dream, rather than immediately trying to understand what every single element means, try simply to sit quietly with the feeling the dream left you with. What was the overall atmosphere? What one or two images lingered most strongly? And how did those images make you feel? This gentle approach is often the most effective way to listen to the whispers of symbols. Sometimes, a symbol might repeat in different dreams. This could suggest that your mind is gently trying to draw your attention to something specific, exploring it from different angles. Like a gentle theme returning in a piece of music, inviting you to notice its quiet presence. The beauty of this symbolic language is its spaciousness. It allows for multiple layers of meaning, for ambiguity, for mystery. It doesn't box things in with strict definitions. It allows the complex, often contradictory nature of our inner lives to be represented in a fluid, ever-changing landscape. Consider the symbols not as codes to be cracked, but as invitations to explore. An invitation to look a little closer at a feeling you might have overlooked. An invitation to acknowledge a quiet worry or a hidden hope. An invitation to simply appreciate the intricate, creative work your mind is doing while you rest gently. This gentle exploration of symbols helps the mind continue its quiet work of integration. It takes the fragmented pieces of our experience, the sights, sounds, feelings, thoughts, and attempts to weave them into a more coherent whole. The symbols are the threads used in this weaving. And as we drift deeper into understanding this quiet language, we can feel a sense of calm curiosity about our own inner worlds. There is no pressure to understand everything, to decode every image. The gentle act of simply paying attention, of holding the memory of a symbol or a dream scene softly in your mind, is a way of honoring this private, mysterious communication. The whispers of symbols continue throughout the night, a quiet dialogue between the different parts of ourselves. They are fleeting, often fading like mist upon waking, but their gentle resonance can sometimes linger, a soft echo in the morning light. And perhaps, just perhaps, by simply listening to these whispers, by holding the symbols gently in our awareness, we allow our minds to continue their quiet work of processing, integrating, and making gentle sense of the world, both within and without. It is a natural process, as natural as breathing, as natural as the quiet turning of the earth. And understanding this symbolic language is simply learning to listen more closely to the soft murmur of our own dreaming selves. We have spoken of the quiet laboratories of the mind, where dreams are spun, the intricate patterns they sometimes weave, and the soft light they cast on our sleeping hours. Now, let us gently drift into a different sensation, one that many of us know well, though perhaps we don't always give it a name. It is the feeling of being carried along by the dream, the sense that you are not steering the ship, but rather floating upon a quiet, mysterious current. Imagine you are lying back in a calm boat, perhaps on a lake covered in a gentle mist just before sunrise. You aren't rowing, you aren't trying to reach a specific shore. You are simply present, allowing the almost imperceptible movement of the water to guide you. This is akin to the feeling of being lost within a dream's narrative, not in a frightening way, but in a state of gentle surrender. In this state, the world around you in the dream can shift and transform without much protest from your dreaming self. A familiar room might suddenly open onto a vast unknown landscape. A person you know might wear a different face or speak with a voice that isn't quite theirs. The rules that govern our waking world seem to soften, to become fluid and yielding. Gravity might lessen its hold. Logic might take a quiet holiday. And yet, the dreaming mind, in this state of gentle detachment, often accepts these changes with remarkable ease. There is a curious absence of the urgent questioning that fills our waking hours. Why is the sky green? How did this tree suddenly appear indoors? These questions often simply do not arise. Instead, there is a kind of passive observation. You might find yourself walking down a street that morphs into a forest path, and the transition feels not like a shock, but like a quiet turn in a story being told. You are a character in this story, but you are also, somehow, the reader, turning the pages as they appear before your mind's eye. Your actions, if you take any, feel less like conscious decisions and more like part of the unfolding narrative. You might find yourself walking, or running, or flying, not because you willed it, but because the dream itself seemed to dictate the movement. Think of the feeling of being in water, buoyant and supported. The water moves, and you move with it. You don't fight the current, you become part of it. This is the feeling of being lost in a dream's flow. Your awareness is present, watching, experiencing, but the active, planning, controlling part of your mind seems to be taking a soft rest. The part of the brain responsible for logic and decision-making, the prefrontal cortex we discussed earlier, quietens down significantly during certain stages of sleep when vivid dreams are most common. This gentle dimming of the rational mind allows the more ancient, more imaginative parts to come forward and paint their pictures without interruption. Being lost in a dream can feel like watching a film from within the screen. You are surrounded by the images, the sounds, the sensations, but you are not holding the camera or writing the script. The dream unfolds frame by frame, and you are simply there, receiving the experience. The emotions that arise in this state often feel like echoes or reflections of the dream's content rather than originating from a deeply personal place within you, though sometimes, of course, deep feelings do surface. But in this particular state of gentle drifting, the emotions are often subtle, a quiet current beneath the surface of the narrative. Perhaps a mild curiosity, a soft sense of wonder, a faint echo of concern, but rarely to sharp edges of fear or intense joy. Consider how time behaves in these dream journeys. It rarely follows the steady, ticking rhythm of the waking world. Minutes in the dream can feel like hours, filled with intricate detail and sequence. Or vast stretches of time can seem to pass in an instant, marked only by a quick fade or a scene change. You might find yourself in one place, then, without a sense of travel, suddenly be somewhere entirely different, having seemingly lived through the journey without its passage. This warping of time contributes to the feeling of being adrift, untethered from the reliable anchors of our daily experience. The dream's internal clock is a curious, flexible thing, bending and stretching according to its own mysterious needs. The landscapes you inhabit in this dream state can be wonderfully inconsistent. A building might have too many floors, or rooms that lead nowhere you expected. The weather might change in an instant, from bright sunshine to gentle rain to a sky filled with soft swirling colors. These inconsistencies, which would cause confusion and alarm in wakefulness, are often accepted with a quiet calm in the dream state. It's as if the dreaming mind understands, on some level deeper than conscious thought, that these are not the solid realities of the waking world, but something else entirely, something malleable and transient. This acceptance, this lack of resistance to the strange and the shifting, is a hallmark of being gently lost in a dream. There is a quality of effortless motion. You might be walking uphill but feel no strain. You might be running, but your breath remains even and calm. The physical rules that bind us when we are awake seem to hold less sway. The body in the dream may feel lighter or heavier or simply absent as a point of reference. Often, the sensation is of pure consciousness observing a world unfolding around it. The characters you encounter in these dream narratives also contribute to this feeling of being carried along. They appear, they speak, they act, often without introduction or explanation. They might be people you know, or faces you have never seen before, or even figures that defy easy description. Their presence feels natural, belonging to the dream's landscape as much as the trees or the buildings do. You interact with them, perhaps speaking or listening, but the interaction often feels guided by the dream's logic rather than your own volition. Their words might be wise or nonsensical, their actions predictable or wildly unexpected, And yet, in this state of gentle dreaming, you simply receive their presence as part of the unfolding scene. Think of how a river carries leaves and twigs along its surface. They do not choose their path or their speed. They are simply part of the river's journey. In this state of being lost in a dream, your consciousness feels somewhat like those leaves, gently carried along by the deeper currents of the sleeping mind. There is a release of conscious control, a letting go that is both mysterious and, in its own way, deeply restful. The mind is active, certainly, creating this rich, immersive world, but the executive function, the part of you that plans and decides and exerts will, is observing from a comfortable distance, perhaps even taking a quiet nap itself. This state is not one of confusion, though elements within the dream might be confusing if analyzed upon waking. While in the state, there is often a remarkable clarity, a simple acceptance of the dream's reality, however strange it may be. The feeling is more one of immersion, of being bathed in the dream's atmosphere and narrative. You are a part of the world you are experiencing, but your role feels prescribed, a line you are delivering in a play you did not write. The feeling of gentle disorientation comes not from a lack of understanding in the dream, but from the lack of familiar anchors. The ground beneath your feet might shift, the horizon might be in an unexpected place. The person you are speaking to might suddenly become someone else. But because the questioning, analytical part of your mind is quiet, these shifts are received not with alarm, but with a mild sense of peculiarity, or simply as the next beat in the dream's rhythm. This drifting state can be incredibly vivid, filled with sensory detail. The colors might be richer than in waking life, the sounds clearer, the textures more pronounced. You might feel the warmth of dream sunlight on your skin, or the coolness of dream water, or the scent of dream flowers. These sensory details ground you in the dream's reality, even as the narrative carries you along. They make the ephemeral world of the dream feel real, solid, present, despite its fluid nature. It's a paradox, a world that is constantly changing, yet feels utterly real in the moment of experience. Why does the mind do this? Why does it create these elaborate, unfolding narratives that we seem merely to inhabit? It is one of the deepest mysteries of sleep and dreaming. Perhaps it is a way for the mind to process information without the constraint of linear logic. Perhaps it is a rehearsal space for various scenarios, allowing us to experience situations and emotions in a safe, detached environment. Perhaps it is simply the natural expression of a highly active, unrestrained imagination when the rational gatekeepers are temporarily offline. The brain during REM sleep, the stage where these vivid, narrative dreams are most common, is a fascinating landscape of activity. Areas associated with emotion, memory, and sensory processing are highly engaged. Meanwhile, areas associated with critical thinking, planning, and self-awareness are much less active. This specific pattern of brain activity seems perfectly suited to creating the experience of being gently lost in a dream. The emotional and imaginative parts create the story, while the critical, questioning parts are too quiet to interrupt the flow. So, as you float through these night tales, remember the quiet surrender. The absence of control is not a failing, but a feature of this peculiar state. It allows the deeper currents of the mind to surface, to express themselves in ways that are not possible during the focused, directed activity of wakefulness. It is a state of receiving, of witnessing, of simply being carried along by the mysterious power of the dreaming brain. This feeling of being lost is not about being truly stranded or abandoned. It is about being released, temporarily, from the need to control, to direct, to understand everything immediately. It is a gentle invitation to experience a reality constructed purely by the imagination, where the only rule is the dream's own unfolding logic. It is a reminder that the mind has depths and capabilities far beyond our conscious understanding, capable of creating entire worlds and narratives that we can step into like walking through a hidden doorway into another dimension of experience. As this thought settles softly in your mind, allow yourself to imagine that feeling once more. The gentle current beneath you, the mist on the water, the quiet landscape shifting softly around the edges of your vision. There is no urgency, no destination, just the simple act of being carried along. This is the quiet heart of being lost in a dream's tale, a state of peaceful, effortless journeying through the landscapes of the sleeping mind. It is a reminder that sometimes the most profound experiences come not from taking control, but from letting go and allowing yourself to be gently guided by the invisible currents that flow through the night. Let this quiet feeling of being carried, of soft buoyancy, settle over you now, inviting a similar ease into your own state of rest. And so, we have journeyed through the quiet landscapes of slumber, exploring the hidden paths of the mind in the depths of the night. The night has unfolded, chapter by gentle chapter, guiding us through the different layers of rest. We have visited those mysterious realms where thoughts and feelings weave themselves into intricate patterns, where the familiar can become strange and the impossible feels entirely real. Now, as the night begins its subtle transition towards the dawn, or perhaps just towards a natural pause in the sleep cycle, we approach the edge of those dream worlds. The journey inward begins its gentle turn outward, back towards the shores of conscious awareness. Feel the quiet shift. The energy that flowed so freely in the dream state, the vivid colors, the sometimes intense emotions, they begin to soften. It is like a painting seen in the early morning mist, where the sharp edges blur and the vibrant hues become pastels. Imagine the dreamscape around you. Whatever form it took, whether a bustling city, a peaceful forest, or something entirely abstract, feel it now begin to dissolve. It doesn't vanish with a sudden jolt, but rather, it seems to lose its solidity, its definite shape. The air itself feels different, less charged with the energy of the subconscious narrative. This is the gentle return. It is a slow, unhurried withdrawal from the deep engagement of the dream state. Your awareness, which was so deeply immersed in the internal world, begins to stretch outwards, sensing the faint edges of your physical reality once more. Perhaps you become dimly aware of the feeling of the surface beneath you, the gentle pressure where your body meets the bed. Perhaps you notice the quality of the air in the room, its temperature, its stillness. These are tiny anchors, drawing you back from the vast ocean of dreams. The dream itself, which felt so immediate and present just moments ago, starts to recede. Think of it like a tide going out, pulling the water back from the shore, leaving behind only faint patterns in the sand that will soon be smoothed away. Why do our dreams, which can be so vivid and consuming in the moment, so often slip away from us upon waking? It is part of the gentle mystery of this transition. The state of the brain during REM sleep, the phase where most memorable dreaming occurs, is quite different from the state of the brain when we are fully awake and forming conscious memories. In the dream state, the parts of the brain responsible for logic, planning, and sequential memory formation are less active. The emotional centers, the visual processing areas, they are highly engaged, creating the rich tapestry of the dream experience. But the mechanisms that help us consciously encode events into stable, retrievable memories, those are quieter. So, as you transition from this state of intense internal experience back towards wakefulness, the dream finds itself in a different kind of mental environment. It is like trying to hold water in your hands. The dream is fluid, ephemeral, and the structure of conscious memory, designed for solid facts and linear events, is not perfectly suited to contain it. Consider that feeling when you are just on the edge of waking. You might have a strong sensation, an image, a fragment of a story still lingering. It feels important, perhaps even profound, but as your conscious mind begins to fully engage, trying to grasp it, it seems to crumble and fade. It is right there, on the tip of your mental tongue, and then, with a sigh, it is gone. This is the faint trace. It is the whisper of the dream that briefly crosses the threshold into wakefulness before dissolving back into the subconscious from which it came. Sometimes this trace is an emotion, a feeling of joy or unease that lingers for a moment. Sometimes it is a single peculiar image. Sometimes it is the vague sense of having been somewhere or done something without any clear details. Think of it like the residual warmth left by a fire after the flames have died down. It is a sign that something was there, something powerful and real in its time, but its form has changed and it is slowly dissipating. The process of waking involves a shift in brain chemistry. Levels of certain neurotransmitters, which were suppressed during REM sleep, begin to rise. These chemicals help to sharpen awareness, focus attention, and prepare the brain for conscious interaction with the external world. As these levels change, the unique neurological environment of the dream state is altered, making it harder for the dream content to persist. It's a natural shedding. Like a tree releasing its leaves in the autumn, the mind, as it prepares for the day, gently releases the experiences of the night. Perhaps this is a necessary part of processing. Dreams may help us sort through emotions, practice scenarios, or simply release mental energy. Once their purpose in the subconscious is served, they are allowed to fade, clearing the way for the day ahead. There are moments, of course, when a dream does stay with us. This often happens when we wake up suddenly, directly from a period of REM sleep. In these instances, the transition is quicker, and the dream is caught, as it were, before it has had time to fully dissolve. Even then, the details can be surprisingly fragile. A vivid dream recalled immediately upon waking can become hazy and incomplete within minutes, losing its color and its narrative thread. The act of trying too hard to remember can sometimes make the dream slip away faster. It's as if the conscious effort to pin it down startles the delicate memory fragment, causing it to retreat. Sometimes, the best way to preserve a trace is to simply let it be, to gently observe it without trying to force it into a logical structure. Just allowing the feeling or the image to be present for a moment, acknowledging its existence before it softly departs. Consider the feeling of coming back into your body. During the deepest phases of sleep, especially REM, the muscles are often temporarily paralyzed. This is a protective mechanism, preventing us from physically acting out our dreams. As we approach wakefulness, this muscle paralysis gradually releases. This return of motor control is another subtle part of the gentle return. You might feel a desire to stretch, to move your limbs, to reconnect with the physical presence of your body. This is the system coming back online, preparing for movement and interaction. It is a quiet, internal signal that the period of deep rest and internal processing is drawing to a close. The light outside, even if it is still dark, might register faintly through the eyelids. The sounds of the house, the quiet hum of appliances, the distant sounds of the world beginning to stir, they start to filter through the fading echoes of the dream. These external stimuli act as gentle cues, guiding the mind back to its waking functions. This period of transition between deep sleep and full wakefulness is a liminal space. It can be a time when remnants of the dream world mingle briefly with the first impressions of the waking world. Sometimes this leads to hypnopompic hallucinations, fleeting images or sounds that seem real but are born from the fading dream state. These are simply echoes, harmless remnants of the mind's nocturnal activity, quickly fading as full consciousness arrives. There is a beauty in this fading. Not everything needs to be remembered, to be cataloged and analyzed. Some experiences are meant to be just that, experiences lived in the moment, leaving behind perhaps a feeling or a vague impression, but not necessarily a concrete story to be retold. Dreams, in their elusive nature upon waking, remind us that much of our mental life happens beneath the surface of conscious awareness. They are a reminder of the vast, hidden landscape within us, constantly active, constantly processing, even when we are not consciously directing it. As you feel yourself drifting closer to wakefulness, do not feel frustrated if the details of your dreams are already slipping away. This is the natural way of things. It is the gentle release, the shedding of the night's internal journey. Embrace this process. Welcome the soft return to the present moment, to the quiet reality of your room, to the slow dawning of the day, or the simple end of a sleep cycle. The dreams have served their purpose, whatever that purpose may be it processing emotions, consolidating memories in a different way, or simply allowing the mind to explore without the constraints of reality. Now they are dissolving, leaving behind only the faintest scent, the lightest touch, before they are gone. Sometimes a dream leaves a more lasting impression, a feeling or a theme that resonates throughout the day. These are like the particularly strong currents that leave a deeper pattern in the sand before the tide completely smooths it over. Pay gentle attention to these if they occur, but do not chase them. Simply allow them to be present. The mystery of why we dream and why we forget remains. Science can offer us glimpses into the neurological processes, the changes in brain activity and chemistry. But the deeper why, the meaning behind the symbols, the purpose of the narrative itself, much of this remains beautifully, gently unknown. And perhaps that is as it should be. Some mysteries are meant to be savored, not solved. Some experiences are meant to be felt and lived, not dissected and explained away. Dreams are like that. They are gifts from the subconscious, glimpses into another way of being, and their elusiveness upon waking is part of their magic. As you continue your gentle return to wakefulness, feel a sense of peace. You have made a journey. You have navigated the internal landscapes of sleep and dreams. Now you are emerging, refreshed, perhaps with only a faint echo of the places you visited, but ready for the day or the next period of rest. Allow the final traces of the dream to dissipate like morning mist. Feel your connection to the physical world strengthening gently without haste. The sounds around you, the feeling of your body, the sense of the air in the room, let these sensations ground you softly. There is no need to hold on tightly to the night's experiences. The lessons, the insights, the processing, if they occurred, have happened on a deeper level. The conscious memory is not the only place where the night's work is stored. Breathe softly, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Feel the quiet energy returning to your limbs. You are here, back on the shores of wakefulness, having completed another cycle of rest and internal exploration. The gentle mystery of dreams remains, waiting for us each time we close our eyes and drift into sleep. And the gentle return, the soft transition back to waking awareness, is a natural, peaceful part of this nightly rhythm. Let the last whispers of the dream fade away. Feel yourself becoming present, grounded, and calm. The night's journey is complete. The return is soft, and you are here, gently, ready for whatever comes next. Feel the peace that comes from this quiet transition. So our quiet exploration of dreams comes gently to a close for tonight. We have drifted through the soft landscapes of the dreaming mind together. Now let your thoughts quiet like the settling dust. Release any lingering notions or questions. Simply rest in the stillness. May your sleep be deeply peaceful. May your dreams be filled with gentle light and quiet wonder. Drift now into sweet, restorative rest.